Oh, hey. I didn't hear you there. My name's Lil Toothpic. I'm from the streets. Y'all know who it is. You can hear my music on iTunes. Just look up Lil Toothpic 2 because I couldn't get the original name. Somebody already took it. But we call myself, I'm original. I'm the original. I will be reading you a story today. I was told to come in here and read a story. But first of all, let me get my sponsorship in there real quick. Today's video is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. Hold on. My hand's a little shaky, that's all. I spilled a little bit. Now with that out of the way, today I will be reading you a little story. Today's story, Ricky, the rock that couldn't roll. And this is Ricky right here. As you can see, he cannot roll. Why? We'll be going over in a minute. But first, this book was written by Mr. J. Now, Mr. J did not want to include his first name, so he said Mr. and then his last name, which is J. We're not going to, you can look up what his first name is. You're probably not going to find out. He's keeping it secret. Don't be a stalker. This was illustrated by Eric Wozniak. Wozniak. Can you say that with me? Wozniak. Wozniak. Good. And this is another You Rock group book. Now, I know that sounds punny. I don't know if it's meant to be. But it's called You Rock, and this book is about a rock. Let's begin. This is the first page. It's blank. It's got some words on here. We're not going to read them. There's no time for that. It's not in my contract. Again, Ricky, the rock that couldn't roll. Written by Mr. J and illustrated by Eric Wozniak. Now, illustration is the pictures. Somebody had to draw all these pictures in the book. And that's who the illustrator is. The person who drew the pictures. Let's continue. It says, to my daughter, Bria, the inspiration for everything I do. That's from Mr. J. Nice guy. Sounds like a nice guy. For my sunshine and my tiger, Aaron. That's Aaron Wozniak, the illustrator. He drew the pictures. Let's continue. This is the first page. Over the lake and out past the bay was a green grassy hill where the rocks came to play. Here are the rocks playing. Illustrated by Eric Wozniak. They raced to the top to take in the view, then roll their way down the way rocks love to do. They love rolling. They're all round, a lot of them are round. You're going to find out that this one right here, this one's hiding because he can't roll. His name is Ricky. Ricky the Rock. He's from the title. Let's continue. There were Kip, Pip, and Chester, and Marvin the Boulder. I'm guessing that's Marvin the Boulder. He's the big one. Ignatius played too, though he was much older. Oh, that's Ignatius. No, that's Marvin. Where Ignatius is this one. He looks a little older. And there's Kip, there's Chester, there's Pip. Pip's the small one. And here are the Pebbles, which were in a group called the Pebbles. Never ever sat still. As you can see, they keep moving around. Why are they moving in a zigzag line? You might find out, maybe not. Zigzagging their way up and over the hill. And there's a little ladybug. That's cute. That's nice. Let's continue. Kai was a meteorite and not from the planet. And Maya was lava, but taken for granted. Granted. Just taken for granted. Yeah, that's a pun. It's pretty funny. So they're down here saying, hey, how do you make a tissue dance? And Ebert's like, seriously? And over here, Lisi saying, you put a little boogie in it. Now it's a little joke, a little dad joke over there. It's pretty funny. Because you put a boogie in it, and that's what makes it dance. It's a boogie, but it's also like a booger. That's the joke. You get it. Stu was the smart one. Parker, the clown, and grumpy old Ebert rolled round with a frown. Gabby was sassy. Lisi was flair. Emma was giggly, and Hud had black hair. There's Hud. He's got black hair. He's a hairy rock. I don't know if those exist, but that's pretty cool. That's a nice addition. But we're moving on. Let's move on. But the one trait that seemed to be shared by them all was that every rock there was shaped like a ball. And because they were round, they could easily roll through the grass past the lake, up and over the knoll. And so here's all the rocks rolling. They roll around because they're round. They can roll. And there's the ladybug again. He's got a little swirl in his face. It's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he's crazy. I don't know. Let's move on. Except for poor Ricky, who quietly sat. You see, Ricky couldn't roll because one side was flat. There's Ricky. He's all sad. And there's the ladybug again. I'm going to point out every time there's a ladybug because it is adorable. There's a nice sad Ricky. He's so sad because he can't roll because he was flat on the bottom. He can't roll. He's tried. He can't. And here's the old one. Forgot his name. We'll find out probably again later. His name, he said, what part of this is supposed to be fun? He's not having a fun time. He's upset. He doesn't like rolling. I bet that Ricky wishes he could switch places with the old rock, but he can't. That's not how that works. Sometimes you can't switch with people. It just doesn't work like that. Let's move on. His friends didn't get it. Come roll, they would chant. So Ricky tried but replied, I'm sorry, I can't. It's a ladybug again. And all the rocks are surrounding him. They want him to come out and play, but he can't because he's flat on the bottom. Oh, God. My bad. I just had a little burp. You know what caused that? Dr. Pepper. I'm supposed to talk about Dr. Pepper every 5 minutes or so. I might have passed that quota. So here, let's just take a sip. Dr. Pepper. Let's move on. But the rocks were determined. They were sure they could solve Ricky's flat-sided problem and help him revolve. So Marvin the Boulder, with his impressive physique, carried Rick all the way to the hills, Grassy Peak. Then he pushed him downhill, yelling, keep rolling, kid. But Rick didn't roll. He just kind of slid. He was sliding. He can't roll. He can't roll like the big rocks. He's got a flat bottom. Rolling is kind of fun, though, too. I don't know what's wrong with him. He said, this feels like a bad idea. And there's the little ladybug again. He's on every page. It's a nice little secret. Don't tell anybody. He's on every page. It's between you and me. Shh, keep it a secret. Let's move on. Well, the rocks weren't done. Not by a mile. Surely this next try would get Rick to smile. They stuck rubber balls all over Rick, using big gobs of glue to get them to stick. They were proud of themselves. This will work, they announced. But Rick still couldn't roll. Now he just sort of bounced. See, they got all these little rubber balls to try to get him to bounce, but he can't. Doesn't work like that. There's the little ladybug. He's hiding again. And they all tried. This seems like bullying. It might not be, but we'll find out, won't we? We'll find out. I think it's bullying. Don't tell anybody. Let's move on. Well, they pushed and they pulled, trying every which way to get Rick to roll, but by the end of the day, nothing had worked, just like Rick expected. And he ended up feeling depressed and dejected. It's no use, Ricky sighed. There just isn't a way. So I'll sit off to the side and watch you all play. Now he's really sad, but the only friend he has left is the ladybug. Let's move on. But his friends wouldn't quit. We're here for you, brother, and we'll get you to roll one way or another. So they pondered and thought, each straining his brain, till they looked up and saw it was starting to rain. And that's when it hit. That smart stone named Stu. Eureka, he shouted. I know just what to do. He explained to them how they would get Ricky to tumble. My plan is pure genius. Stu wasn't so humble. You gotta be humble, Stu. We're not here to praise you. We're here to take your idea and maybe help Ricky to roll. Stay humble. Let's move. So they carried our hero down the road, about a mile to the lake, where they gathered up mud they could pile on the flat side of Rick, creating a mound that they shaped smooth and sculpted until it was round. Then after the rain, with the sun in the sky, they left him to bake till the mud was all dry. They gathered up vines and one colorful feather that they wrapped all around Rick to keep it together. Does anyone have a towel? He needs a towel. He likes to be clean. There's mud on him, but they all have mud on him. He just needs to get over it. Sometimes everybody gets a little mud on them. Can't always clean it off. And here he is with all the stuff on him. He's got vines, he's got mud, he's got a feather. Why? Who knows? He's special. Let's move on. There's a ladybug. Let's move on. When the last knot was tied and the work was all done, the only step left was for Rick to have fun. They stood back and watched, feeling nervous and tense as Rick breathed in deep with increasing suspense. He moved slowly at first, testing out his new mold, and then, for the first time, let's move on. Ricky the Rock rolled. And here he is rolling in the ladybug. So Bria the ladybug, who'd been there from the start, felt a surge of pure joy swell up in her heart. She thought as she watched her friends play on the hill that there's always a way if there's always a will. And she said to herself as Ricky rolled down the slope, when you're surrounded by love, you always have hope. I told you the ladybug was important. That's why she's on every page. She was watching over Ricky like a guardian angel. And there they are having fun. He gets to roll. He changed himself to roll. Now, I wouldn't always say change yourself for other people. But in this case, Ricky did the right thing. He wants to roll. He found a problem. He problem solved. And that's how he can roll now. That's the lesson I took away. He problem solved. His friends helped him. They stuck with him. The best friends you can have are the ones that stick with you for everything. Let's move on. That's the last page. And Mr. J has written some other books. Tess the Tin That Wanted to Rock, The Bear and the Fern, The Masterpiece, Beware of the Nose-Biting Monster, Patrick Picklebottom, and The Penny Book. You can find all those books at your local bookstore. Don't go right now. Coronavirus, don't go right now. But once it's all over, make sure to pick up these other books. They're great. You know what you should also pick up? A nice can of Dr. Pepper. This is my last advertisement. I just wanted everyone to know that Dr. Pepper is a great drink. I am being sponsored by it. They're paying me $5 every time I say Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper. They don't want me to do stuff like that, but I did it anyways. Don't tell them. We're just going to edit in a few Dr. Peppers in the rest of the video, hopefully, so I can get that extra moolah, you know what I'm saying? So let's take one last sip. This will get me $10 for a sip. That was a $6 for the, so thank you guys for watching this video. This is a great book. I had a blast reading it with you all, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Stay safe, y'all. Stay safe. Love ya.